Animals and insects that can predict weather. First in our list, fish. Fish can be surprisingly good at predicting the weather because they respond to changes in atmospheric pressure, temperature, and other environmental factors. Fish are cold-blooded and rely on their surroundings for body heat. Sudden changes in air temperature can affect water temperature, influencing fish behavior. Before a cold front, fish may feed heavily because they sense an upcoming temperature drop that could make them sluggish. Fish have swim bladders that help them control their buoyancy. When the atmospheric pressure drops, fish feel discomfort in their swim bladders. They tend to swim deeper where the pressure is more stable to relieve the discomfort. If fish suddenly disappear from usual fishing spots, it could indicate incoming storms or a significant weather shift. Bees. Bees are surprisingly good at predicting the weather. They rely on environmental cues like humidity, temperature, air pressure, and electromagnetic signals to anticipate weather changes. Bees tend to stay close to the hive or reduce foraging when they sense rain or storms approaching. If you see fewer bees buzzing around flowers, bad weather might be on the way. A sudden drop in air pressure signals incoming rain, prompting bees to return to the hive early. They instinctively know that flying in the rain is difficult and dangerous. On days when bad weather is expected, bees may collect more nectar and pollen than usual, preparing for a period of being stuck in the hive. Some beekeepers notice bees becoming more defensive and irritable when a storm approaches. This might be due to the changes in atmospheric pressure. If bees anticipate prolonged lousy weather, they may use extra propolis to seal cracks in the hive, reinforcing their shelter against wind and rain. Butterfly. Butterflies can sometimes serve as natural weather forecasters based on their behavior. They are highly sensitive to changes in air pressure. When a storm is approaching, they may seek shelter under leaves, in dense foliage, or in cracks of tree bark. If you see butterflies disappearing or hiding, it could indicate rain is coming soon. They are highly active on warm sunny days with stable weather, fluttering around for food and mates. If butterflies fly lower to the ground or seem sluggish, it could be due to an incoming storm or cooler temperatures. They regulate their body temperature by basking in the sun with open wings. Monarch butterflies, which migrate to warmer regions for the winter, adjust their migration based on seasonal weather patterns. Early migrations could indicate an early onset of winter, while delayed migration might suggest a prolonged warm season. Ants. Ants are incredibly sensitive to environmental changes, which helps them predict weather shifts. While they don't have a conscious understanding of meteorology, they rely on their heightened senses to detect changes in temperature, humidity, air pressure, and even electromagnetic fields. Before the rain, humidity increases, and air pressure drops. Ants can detect these shifts and often take preventive measures. They may reinforce their nests by building taller mounds or sealing entrances to prevent flooding. When ants sense prolonged wet conditions, they may move their colonies to drier areas, such as tree trunks or inside buildings. If a storm approaches, ants may become less visible as they retreat into their nests. Frog. Frogs have been used in folklore as natural weather predictors because they respond to environmental changes, particularly humidity and atmospheric pressure. Frogs tend to croak louder and more frequently when rain is approaching. They thrive in moist conditions, and higher humidity helps their skin stay hydrated. Some species also call more before rain because it signals the best time for mating. Pools of water will form, giving their eggs a better chance to survive. If frogs suddenly leave ponds or lakes, it might indicate an upcoming storm. Falling atmospheric pressure, which precedes storms, can make them seek shelter in safer places. In some cultures, it's believed that tree frogs climb higher before heavy rains or floods. This could be an instinctive response to avoid rising water levels. Sheep. Sheep have been used in folklore as weather predictors based on their behavior. If sheep lie down in a field when the sky darkens, they may sense a drop in barometric pressure, which often precedes rain. If sheep graze longer than usual, it might mean a storm is coming, and they are stocking up on food before bad weather. Cat. Cats have some fascinating behaviors that seem to predict the weather. While they aren't meteorologists, their heightened senses allow them to detect environmental changes often preceding weather shifts. Cats can sense drops in barometric pressure, which usually indicate approaching storms or rain. If your cat suddenly hides, becomes restless, or seems more alert, bad weather might be coming. Some cats become more affectionate or clingy before a storm. Others may become more anxious or hide in a safe, enclosed space. Increased licking or grooming might also be a reaction to humidity changes. Cats' ears and whiskers are susceptible to vibrations and temperature shifts. They may react to distant thunder or feel changes in static electricity levels before a storm arrives. If your cat suddenly curls up tightly, tucking its paws and tail in, it might sense colder weather ahead. There are reports of cats acting unusually, running, vocalizing, or hiding before earthquakes. Some scientists believe cats can sense seismic vibrations before humans can. Some cats might eat more before winter, anticipating a drop in temperature and needing extra energy to stay warm. Dog. Dogs can detect changes in atmospheric pressure and humidity, influencing how scents travel. They may notice the smell of rain or ozone before a storm arrives. They can hear frequencies far beyond human capabilities. This allows them to pick up distant thunder, strong winds, or other weather-related sounds long before we can. Dogs can feel shifts in barometric pressure, which drop before a storm or bad weather. This change can make them anxious or restless. Cow. Cows have been part of weather folklore for centuries. While they don't have scientific meteorological abilities, their behavior is sometimes influenced by atmospheric pressure, humidity, and temperature changes. A common belief is that cows lie down when rain is coming. Some say it's because they sense a drop in barometric pressure or want to keep a dry spot on the grass. Cow grouping closely might indicate a storm or cold weather approaching. This could be a response to wind shifts or temperature drops. If cows refuse to go out to pasture, it might mean they sense incoming bad weather, like a thunderstorm. Cows may become more active, swishing their tails, stomping, or acting irritated before a storm, possibly due to air pressure or humidity affecting their comfort. Some farmers claim that cows eat more than usual before stormy weather, as if preparing for a period when grazing might be difficult. Bird. Birds have a natural ability to sense weather changes, often before humans notice them. They rely on a combination of biological instincts and environmental cues. Birds have highly sensitive inner ear structures that allow them to detect barometric pressure drops, often indicating approaching storms. Sudden shifts in wind direction or temperature influence bird behavior. For example, birds may fly higher in stable weather and lower when a storm approaches. Birds can detect subtle changes in cloud cover and light intensity, which help them anticipate weather conditions. Before storms, insects and other small prey become more active, and birds take advantage of this by feeding more aggressively. Many birds time their migrations based on temperature shifts and seasonal changes, sensing when to move to warmer or cooler regions.